Hello everybody and welcome back to another week of watching me work on starting my own business, offering tools and content for people interested in creating and sharing their own games. I think there's just something about Tuesdays that really are productive for me. We got another bit of things released this morning and I'm feeling pretty good about it. The main thing that went out today that I'm excited about is the replacement of user account and authentication features on the newer application. For those of you that have been watching the older videos, you probably know, but for those who don't, we've got two applications right now that we're hosting finalparsec.com. One is about 10 years old and something that we've been trying to replace and remove, and then the other is like the newer way that we're hoping to do things moving forward. Kind of the final boss, or like the last big feature I think that I started getting into last week was related to user authentication, sign up, and updating user details. I kind of got sent down this path trying to fix a bug that was happening on the profile page, but all of that went out today. So signing up for a new account, logging into your account, and then account management type features. So things like resetting your password, updating your profile image, changing your name. All of that stuff now is done on the newer application. I think that was like the last big milestone for me that was left on the old app. This migration that I think I kicked off quite some time ago is kind of like, I think, nearing an end. There's basically no functionality left on the old app that I think would matter. There are just a few lingering kind of dead features on the old app, or unused features that I'm not particularly concerned about. I'm sure too that there's bugs and things like that that I've created in this process, but hopefully people report those to me and I'll make sure they get knocked out as soon as I hear about them or encounter them myself. I'd like to walk through some of the functionality that we have now to support user authentication and account creation on the newer app. So previously, when you would click login and sign up here, those would go back to old pages. There's a sneak peek of that in last week's video if you want to see what it used to look like. But now that you're here, you'll see your navigation doesn't change and you're on the same app with the same look and feel. And we've got a form for logging into an existing account, and we've got a form for creating a new account. So you can fill out this form, and once you fill out that form, you can sign up and you'll have created an account. And we also have this profile page, which I demonstrated in last week's video. Nothing really changed here, but you'll see now that the edit page is a bit more full-featured than I think it was in last week's. So you can edit your name and see that information updated. You can also upload your own profile picture, and then you can replace your password too if you wanted to. Sign out is supported, and you'll notice that you go back to an unauthenticated state, and then you can sign back in using the same username and password that you created, and you'll be right back with what you've got. So all of this now happens on the new app, which is a super exciting milestone for me. Basically, at this point, if you hop through the top level navigation or any of the links in the footer, all of the major functionality of this has been moved into the newer application. And I think we are just that much closer to being able to sunset and really turn off the old app that has served Final Parsec well for the last 10 years or so. We had a great question posed in the comments of last week's YouTube video by, hopefully I'm pronouncing this right, Pileen Voadora. I'll try to edit the comment in here. This is a great question, and generally it's asking about marketing strategies when it comes to brand awareness for Final Parsec. The strategy here with Final Parsec is primarily driven by SEO and content marketing. So the video you're watching right now is meant to bring awareness to the brand and to the platform that I'm trying to build here. In addition, FinalParsec.com has a rich blog that has content going back for years, and it's my intent to continue to post new content there over the long term. And this really helps with people finding our information by searching either on Google or other places and coming to find helpful content. I think there's a big overlap in the people that want to watch these videos and people that want to create games of their own. And it's my hope that these audiences overlap enough that this is some meaningful marketing and that generates awareness of what Final Parsec is and what we're working on. I haven't done this yet, but it's my hope to eventually start to create a newsletter as well so that I can start to do some email marketing and maybe get a little more active on other social media platforms beyond YouTube. Reddit has created a lot of success for us in the past, and it's a good place for us to be engaged. Longer term, I think it's my hope to start to get into more like public relations and media type marketing as well. I would love to, once I've built up a little bit more of a following and people kind of know who I am and what I'm working on, to collaborate with others, to go find people building their own games or starting their own businesses, see if there's some opportunity for cross collaboration and see if I can't have them on this channel or go participate in their videos and their podcasts. I'd also love to go and apply to conferences in the future, and then I think it'd be great once we've got enough awareness to start to have things like game jams and similar events that are kind of fun for people that already know who we are, but also really work to increase awareness beyond that and into those people's social networks. Super long term, once we have an actual like sales funnel and understandable return, we'll actually get into paid marketing, where we might place ads, look into like sponsoring people that are creating content about game creation, or offering affiliate sales programs for the books that we produce or the art that we produce or similar. So really three main things, right? SEO and content marketing. So produce content that's relevant to people and available for free. This includes our free tools. It's not strictly speaking just content. Our Sprite Sheet Maker is a great example of something that is freely available and pulls people into the site and makes people aware of who we are. And then kind of medium term, my hope is to move into more of like a public relations and media approach and start to build awareness that way. And then longer term, I think we might look into like a paid advertising approach as well. I think the next thing that I'd really like to work on is our World Builder tool. I've shown a little bit of that in past videos, and it's a cool free tool to check out if you're interested in tracking the people, places, and things for your game. If you're trying to think through what the levels of your game might be, who your characters might be, that kind of thing. I also envision this might be really useful for people running games like Dungeons and Dragons, for instance. The next thing that I'd like to do is to work more on this world builder and start to build it into a more full-featured tool. But right now, it kind of lets you create records, create pages and records for all like people and places and all of that. But and it lets you put a summary and lets you upload some art. But there's not a lot of like relationships between the various features. So you can't say, for instance, that a person was born in this location or this person played a role in this event. So I want to start to kind of relate all of the various things, like entities that exist within the world builder. And then I think the idea that we've had bouncing around for a long time in this new era of AI and everything is how generative AI might really play a good role in this. So we're thinking about like something that would help you like generate summaries or names for characters or backstories and those types of things, and let you save those and kind of get a jump start into building your world. It's already getting later in the day, so I think at this point it's kind of just going to be planning and thinking about what I want to take on as far as a project goes to enhance the world builder. But I think that's where we're going to direct most of our attention, at least for the near future, is to try to make that cooler and more full-featured. Hey everybody, it is the end of day Wednesday, and I wanted to just show off what I've done so far. I've been working on the world builder a little bit. I think I mentioned yesterday that it was my hope to start to try to do some feature enhancements and improve the world builder. I've had the idea for a while now to include a like AI integration where you could have a chatbot that would help you generate information about the different things that you're trying to put in the world builder. So I've created just like a proof of concept of what the UI might look like for something like this. It's not tied into any sort of actual functionality yet. So when you're on the summary editor page now, there's like a new icon in the bottom right that just says DM. And I've kind of started to put together this like personified DM and given it a name, Dan G. Masters, to sound suspiciously similar to Dungeon Master. But the idea is that this is just an area where you can chat and then get responses back from a chatbot, basically. And the idea is that you could use that chatbot to start to generate some of these types of sentences and possibly even entire like pages for people or places. So you would come in here and say something like, hey, I need help coming up with a location for my world. And you would get a response from the chatbot that would be the name of the location, a description of it, and then probably like a link to just automatically create it and add it to your world. That's the direction I'm going right now. You know, it's still super early days, but I just wanted to kind of get some of these ideas that I've got around how this functionality might work out into the code base. So this is actually out in production now if you want to poke at it and give me some feedback. But I imagine it's only Wednesday, so I imagine I'll be sharing even more progress on this before the video is complete and out for this week. I'll update you guys tomorrow and let you know how it's coming along. I live here in Texas, and we finally got a proper week of fall. I caught this cool clip of fog rolling across the Trinity River, and I wasn't sure of a good place to put it, so I just stuck it here. We've had cool temperatures and rainy weather. It's been perfect for me to hang out at some coffee shops and hack away on the World Builder. And it's basketball season 2 now, which I absolutely love. Hey y'all, it is Thursday afternoon, and I'm gonna just collect some footage before I probably start editing tomorrow. I feel like it's been a really productive week. So in addition to getting the migration, I think, in a really good space, we've kicked off a series of enhancements that I've been wanting to do for quite some time for the World Builder. I've put the focus primarily on this artificial intelligence assistant that is like a DM type personality that should be able to help you kind of get content in and like get a starting point in creating a world for your game. So I just want to show off where we're at and probably just call it for the week in terms of what makes it into this video. But my plan is to just keep working on the World Builder, not just on this chat interface that I'm about to show you guys here, but I've been wanting to kind of like solidify the relationships between the different entities within the world. Like there's already kind of the core functionality for the people, places, and things that exist in a universe, but there's not a lot of, oh, these people attended this event, or this person owns this artifact. So I want to like start to bring relationships together and make the pages for each of the different entities within a world start to be a little more complex and meaningful, and I think that'll make for a much more interesting world to go and create. So yeah, so without further ado, let me show off where I'm at with the AI integration, and then that'll be it. I think I'd just like to walk through like creating a world using this new kind of chat assistant that I've put together. So let's assume that you want to create a world. You can come in here and say, I want to make a new world. So it'll be a drama about cowboys. Let's imagine we're going to do that. So before I move too far ahead, a lot of this has existed. You'll see kind of there's not a lot of hand-holding when you create the world, and that's something I want to add on to. But you can create a world itself, you can upload art, you can create groups or factions, locations, events, people, artifacts. And you can kind of add all of that, and as you put more content in, the page starts to come to life and look like something a little more meaningful. So let's get just a description here and then start to show off what I'm imagining for this new virtual assistant, Dan G. Masters, who has the nickname DM, which is an obvious throwback to a dungeon master, right? But my idea here is that Dan, you can kind of pose questions to him or get ideas. And then it's like an interface with a chatbot, right? But I think we'll go a little deeper and start to have shortcuts to like take the information that you encounter in this chat and create a new character from it, or create a new artifact, or copy the content into the summary that you're working on. So we can talk to Dan and start to get a bit of guidance, and you'll see that he kind of starts to put in a lot of information. I think there'll be like some honing this and making it a little more valuable, but he's already starting to put in characters and helping figure out a setting. And so let's say we like that. You can do that. And then he'll come up with, in the vast, sun-scorched plains of Western Diaries, grit and heart collide under wide-open skies. I mean, that's great. Love it. So let's assume we love it. Now imagine there's a button here, instead of me manually copying and pasting this, that lets it get added to the world. The idea is that you kind of work with this assistant and start to build up something cool. Imagine too that it can create art for you. Unfortunately, I don't have any sort of integration to create art right now. So here's an example of some AI generated art, but like imagine you're able to talk to the assistant to do that kind of thing too. And then you can start to build up, let's say we've got a faction here called the Desperados, and we want a bit of a description. You can work with this content and start to kind of let it shape your world. And notice it's making up characters. So the idea is that you could start to come over here and go, oh yeah, Blackjack Donovan, that's a really good name for a character. Let's make a backstory for Blackjack. And sure enough, it will go and generate a backstory for you. And you can come over here and put that in. And you can see a world might start to take shape this way. So my hope is that you can kind of have this assistant that helps you move faster and make a compelling world for your game. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm going to start to add more shortcuts and like better structured format. There will start to be links that will say, oh, copy this into my summary, or generate a character. I think like in this one, for instance, if we have a bandit that shows up in the result, we should have a structured enough response that we can start to say like, oh, here's a shortcut to create this character, go and add them. Those are the types of things I'd like to do, and I'd like to just make some of these things a little more full-featured. I'm super excited about this tool that we're building. Probably continue working on this today and tomorrow and into next week. And I'll give you all an update when I have something more to share. And I just want to say thank you to everybody if you've made it this far through the video. I really do appreciate all of you that are following along as I work to build something. If you like what I'm doing, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. I think that helps. And then if you want to get updates, these videos come out once a week. Try to get them out on Fridays if I am able to edit fast enough. So please also subscribe so you can get notified when those come out as well. Thanks everybody, and I will see you next week.